new week. This week is going to be anime week. And last week we did politician week, where we talked about how with politicians, they're trying to be, that top level person in charge of everything. And oftentimes they resent being successful at it, right? They say, hey, look at all these people trying to give me stuff, trying to, cater to what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is like, oh, the reason is because I'm giving them what they want in like the worst way, right? I'm stealing money from the people they want money stolen from. I'm, putting people into cages that they don't like. I'm, killing people that they don't like. I'm doing all these horrible, immoral things, and they're cheering me on, and that makes me feel bad. But there's a piece to that. They resent the people for letting them do this, right? And not only letting them do this, but like cheering them on while they do it. And the reason this leads into anime is because one of the biggest tropes in anime is the villain that's just too powerful, right? That, oh man, they are this big galactic power, super powered guy. No one even comes close to their power level. They're invincible. And so they could get cocky. But what really happens is in anime, that super powered villain that's, in charge of everything, no one can even come close. Deep down, they want a good fight. And so they search and try to find someone worth fighting. They try to, make even a villain, right? And so you can, not a villain, a good guy that can beat them. And I think the greatest example of this is Bleach, which it's pretty much Bleach is just a bunch of ghosts with swords, right? That's pretty much what it is. And one of the guys, Aizen, the Soul Reaper that betrays everyone and is like, hey, I'm gonna be the super ultra bad guy, and I'm gonna beat everyone because I'm just so powerful. It's later revealed that, oh no, the main character, right, of the show, he comes toe to toe with Aizen at the end when Aizen's about to win. He's about to destroy everyone and reach his goal, and he then reveals, hey, main character Ichigo, I orchestrated everything about your life so that you could be as strong as you possibly could be right now. So that way, when I beat you, it'll be even more evidence of how strong I am, right? And then Ichigo completely slaps him, just demolishes him, and there's nothing he can do about it. And he's like, oh, oops. But that's the thing. That mentality is pretty common in anime, that I am so immensely powerful that I have to find someone worth fighting, because all the people I'm fighting right now, they're just too easy. It's not fun. It's not satisfying. Another anime that's a great example of this is One Punch Man, where, the main character, hey, he's way overpowered, can just destroy everyone in one punch, and that's fine. But that's not the character I'm talking about. At the end of season 1 with One Punch Man, I think Boros is his name. This alien comes from super far away, trying to find someone worth fighting, and then Saitama one punches him, and he's gone. And he's like, yeah. I guess I found someone worth fighting, huh? But there's a reason behind this. This desire to try to find someone who can beat you. Because if you don't have someone to contend with, if you don't have a challenge, then what's the point in being powerful? And I think that politicians get this complex as well. They want to be challenged, and they also don't, right? They don't want to lose, because they don't want to lose the power that they have, of course. Who would? But at the same time, I truly believe that they get a little bit bored, a little bit resentful of being on top all the time. Because, what they're doing, deep down, they know is bad. They know that, when they're torturing people in Guantanamo Bay, they know that's bad. When they're sending missiles into foreign countries and having collateral damage, they know that's bad. When they're taxing people that don't have any money to begin with, they know that's bad. When they're setting up, programs to try to, help these people, but in reality, they know full well it's just taking away any agency they had left. They know that's bad. The reason they do it is so they can have power, of course. Right? That's the motivation. But at the same time, no one's stopping them. No one's fighting them. And so that's why, for these politicians, whenever there is resistance, of course they're going to go against it, but they hold back for a second. They hold back because they say, finally, a challenge, right? Finally, I have someone to contend with. Finally, someone's stepping up to try to take me on. So I'll give them a second before I slap them down. Because I want to feel good about how powerful I am. I want to prove to the world how powerful I am. And this is why this year we had all of these protests, right? All of these riots, all of this stuff going on. And the main reason that the politicians didn't do anything is because they kind of wanted to see how far it would go. I think everyone kind of had this morbid curiosity of like, man, how bad could this get? Let's see. And for the politicians who are in charge with so much power, these protests are not a threat to them. It's not a threat to the system. It's not going to tear everything. They feel so secure with their power that they want those protesters to get more and more audacious, so that way there's a challenge. There's someone to contend with. That way they can be the politician that ended the riots, right? But if there aren't any riots, well, then you're just doing your job and you don't get any credit. And that's how politicians play. They manufacture their own rivals, so that way when they slap them down, they can feel good about it. They can feel accomplished. They can show off and say, look at how powerful I am. Look at how great I am. No one can step to me because I'm so wonderful. And that's something that's in anime all the time. That, in the case of Aizen, he's probably the best example of this, since we're relating it to last week with politics, right? Aizen knew that he was stronger than everyone, right? Like from real early on, and then we get like flashbacks of like 100 years ago, back when his plans were just starting to actually take shape and happen. Like you know, he plays this super long game, galaxy brain thing, because, he's just so smart and so strong that he's smarter and stronger than everyone else. And so he can beat everyone else just because of that. But it's like, he wants to win, but he wants it to be a challenge. And over all that time, everything kept going right for him. And so then he got more and more worried. Well, is there going to be any resistance? Is my victory even going to be satisfying if, when I win, there was just no one who could possibly stop me? And that's how it goes. That in order for an achievement to feel good, it needs to feel hard. That when you win the lottery and you just get a whole bunch of money because you bought a $2 ticket, it's not earned. It doesn't mean anything. It's not worth anything. Because it's not an achievement. It's just something that happened. And so you can spend all that money and be more depressed than ever. Because now, not only because before you win the lottery, you have nothing, right? And so, yeah, it sucks to have nothing, for sure. But at the same time, you don't have nothing. You have one thing. The opportunity to make something of yourself. And so, the one thing that was keeping you going all that time while you had nothing else, you win the lottery, that's taken from you. And so, in anime, very consistently, this trope goes all over the place. So many different shows. There's a maturity that says, hey, I need to do something hard, otherwise I will not be fulfilled. That if I don't do something difficult, then what am I even doing? Why am I here? Why am I doing this if it's not a challenge? That if it was easy, well, then someone else can do it. I can't be bothered. And so you have to build up to that success. Otherwise, if it's handed to you too much, it's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel rewarding. It'll be because someone else did it. Because someone else made it happen. Not because of you. And you see, that is exactly the fantasy of anime, but also, tying back to last week, the reason people are politicians is it's not so much that they want to see things happen. They want to see things happen because of them. Almost like half of the anime out there is a power fantasy, fundamentally. It's that the main character does some big, audacious thing that most people couldn't do. And if the anime is good, it's going to be because of their hard work and their perseverance and time again trying and failing and trying again. The reason anime feels good to watch, feels rewarding to watch, for at least like half of the anime out there, the reason it feels good to watch is precisely because that character development has a big payoff at the end. That incremental increase in power, in competence, in friends, whatever the bar is, that incremental increase over time, that challenge, that struggle, seeing that is so gratifying to us, because then we can imagine what it's like to have that progress, that struggle, that hardship, and then get the reward at the end. And that's really the fantasy of anime, is to see that struggle day by day, incrementally, see people struggle, and then eventually achieve it. And that's why in anime, they recognize so much that without that struggle, without that difficulty and hardship, you're left feeling empty. That's how you get villains like Aizen. That's how you get shows like One Punch Man. That apathy that comes from not having struggles. That's hard. And I think that nowadays, everyone's struggling with that. Everyone's having to deal with the lack of real struggles out there. Which is why anime is becoming more popular. Because when so many anime shows are about this struggle, this continuous grinding and trying and failing and improving and struggling to get to a goal, and the reason anime does it so well is precisely because that's the mindset of the Japanese, right? Grinding, improving, incremental, little bits, and then you finally finish the struggle and you get the big reward. It feels good to see that. Because for so many of us, we've given up that pursuit in our own lives. Not me, of course. I got 2 kids and 1 on the way, so I'm doing all right. But you doing okay? What dragons are you slaying? What big accomplishments are you getting? You see, I have the benefit of being a planner, right? I think way too far ahead. I think of many different avenues that my life could go down. And so when I end up doing something that's meaningful and impactful, it's usually because I spent years building up to it. And so it feels pretty good. But even more so, when you plan multiple things in a row, then you get new milestones every year, because this plan comes to fruition, then this one, then this one, then this one. And it feels so good and so fantastic. But I think that many people forgo that because they want the easy life. And that's why they have to do unhealthy things. Like wait for riots to get really bad before they step in and do something. Because then they'll be heroic. There's nothing heroic about, breaking up a rowdy crowd. But there's plenty heroic, swapping blows or even gunshot fire, right? Shooting bullets to stop the people who are causing so much turmoil. right? That sounds so much more heroic. And so because you don't have that fulfillment in your life of struggling, grinding, trying to improve, and finally getting there, finally getting that reward, because so many people don't have that, they sit by and create a dragon for them to fight, for them to slay. They sit around and wait for things to get so bad that they can be the hero. But that's not the story of a hero. That's the story of a villain. You're not Saitama from One Punch Man. You're more like Aizen from Bleach. You're the bad guy, causing lots of pain by stoking those flames, allowing things to get worse, maybe even contributing to them being worse. Standing by and doing nothing when the problems are easy to solve. So that way, when the problems are hard to solve, you can feel good about solving them. You can feel heroic. You can feel big and impactful and powerful. But that's completely irresponsible. Now, I'm not saying that each and every one of you has a responsibility to solve this problem or that problem or whatever. What I am saying is ask yourself, is this whole idea that in the future America might have a second civil war, is that idea pleasing to you? It might be scary. Of course it's scary. People would die. But is it exciting? Is a little part of you kind of hopeful that maybe it might get to that point? That maybe one day we'll have some zombie apocalypse and then you can truly shine? That in the post-nuclear winter holocaust, oh man, you'll know what to do. You'll be able to make things happen. I think a lot of people want things to get bad so that way they can feel good about solving them. That they don't have real problems in their life, and so they want to artificially make one. But the real issue is not that they don't have an adversary worth fighting. The issue is, out of all the adversaries they already have, they can't be bothered to lift a finger. That, what is it now? Like almost half of America is obese. Not overweight. Obese. That's not a dragon to fight? That so many people in America, they go to college for years, get tens of thousands of dollars in debt, and then they don't end up with a career worth having. Is meaningful work not a challenge? And so you see, when those politicians promise, hey, I'll make the challenge easier for you, it's tempting. Just like it's tempting to win the lottery. But in the same way, it's not going to be fulfilling. It's not going to fix what's broken in you. And anime recognizes this. They understand that it's the struggle, not the accomplishment, that's important. Because It's the struggle that makes the accomplishment worth having. And that's important. That's an important thing to understand for your own life. So that way you can plan ahead and say, what challenges am I going to overcome in my life? What things do I want to accomplish? And you figure out all of those issues, all of the stuff that is going to be hard and challenging and push you. Figure all that out. So that way you can go, boom, I got married. First kid, second kid, third kid. And all while that's happening, you say, hey, at the same time, I'll get a good job, increase pay, promotion, retire early. Like, you can do so many cool things. You can have this huge impact on the world. But you have to start by trying. Because if you did have a big impact on the world, an impact that you really, truly didn't deserve, then you would be just like those politicians, just like Eisen, trying to stoke up resentments, trying to create enemies, so that way when you have a good enemy, you could justify to yourself having the power that you didn't earn. So don't do that. Learn from anime. Learn from other people who've made those mistakes. And grow as a person. Improve yourself step by step, day by day. And be good in your own right. That's the only way that you will be contented. Is if you get a good, worthwhile goal completed through your hard work. That's the only thing that's going to satisfy you. Because that's the only thing that ever satisfies anyone.